And this $2.5 billion package is one of our largest yet. It helps Ukraine meet its air defense needs with additional NASAMS munitions and 8 Avenger air defense systems.
All right, that was Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin announcing another $2.5 billion in aid to Ukraine. Joining us to discuss national security and global affairs expert, former CIA analyst, founder and principal, Capital Art Strategies, Laura Ballman. Laura, great to have you with us here. What are your thoughts on the Secretary's announcement?
About the new funding?
Exactly.
I think that we Americans are fighting for the life of the men and women and children in Ukraine against a Russian adversary. So I think it's merited.
CIA Director William Burns, we're learning, held a secret meeting with Ukrainian President Zelenskyy last week. Now, Mr. Burns assured Zelenskyy the Biden administration's support for Kyiv remains strong, yet Ukraine is worried that the new Republican-controlled House might be less generous when it comes to funding Ukraine's war effort. Your reaction to that meeting?
The entire world watches our domestic politics because it knows that the turnover in Congress can impact our foreign aid. Director Burns is the perfect person to be there. He's well respected as a substantive heavyweight, but also he understands how Russians think and he understands how Ukrainians think. He's spent a lot of time in that part of the world. So his visit, which is now not secret, I would say has 3 important points. One, it signals that the United States will continue to support Ukraine's fight for freedom, not only on behalf of Kyiv, but on behalf of all of us who believe in democracy in the Western world. 2, he undoubtedly delivered intelligence about Russian warfare plans and intentions. The spring is going to be an incredibly important time, and we can get into that if you want. And then also, if there were, and I suspect there were, sensitive counterintelligence issues to deliver, that's the kind of topic that would be talked about rather than sent through staff channels in writing. In terms of the performance expectations, I mean, the 2.5 billion pledged this week tops the 45 billion we pledged in December. You know, we're not only going to want to know how that's being spent, but we're going to want to have a lot of input on the strategy, the operations. You know, I'm a former operations officer, meaning I've been on the ground in war zones, and I can tell you that the issue they're talking about right now is whether or not, or under what conditions, the U.S. might consider redeploying ground branch guys. Now, those are the paramilitary officers who are so important in any ground war that the United States takes part in. We withdrew them at the beginning of this war because we didn't want to have a direct, U.S. Russian person-to-person confrontation. So that's on the agenda.
Now, you mentioned the importance of the spring. What can you tell us about that?
So in the spring, I mean, the ops tempo typically dampens in the winter months. It's cold. I mean, it's rough terrain. I've spent a lot of time in eastern Ukraine along the border with Russia, and it is not an easy place. I can only imagine, well, I know what it's like for people living there. It's really tough. Right now, there is a town called Bakhmut, which it's in the Donbass in the east. It's not particularly strategically important, except that it's a war of attrition right now. So that's going to have a lot of psychological impact on how the troops are feeling come spring.
All right, Laura Ballman, thanks so much for your insight. Really great information. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. Your retirement funds are being threatened with even more losses from record inflation, recession, and skyrocketing interest rates. Fortunately, the highly trained specialists at American Hartford Gold can show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. If you call them right now as a special offer, they will give you a free gold coin on your first qualifying order, so don't wait. Call 866-935 4309. That's 866-935-4309, or text Newsmax to 65532. That's Newsmax to 65532.